Hey guys, what's up? Producer engineer Alex Scott here with Consordini.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. Got another super cool gear review for you guys today. We're going to be taking a look at the Behringer Deepmind 12 desktop analog polyphonic synthesizer. This thing is an absolute workhorse. If I were on a desert island and I could only ever have one synth, this would probably be the synth, especially at the price. So this review is not going to be as much of like an overview of the feature sets of this synthesizer. It's an incredibly complex device. It can do a ton. It's a 12-voice, fully analog polyphonic synth that also has a massive amount of digital effects built in, from really high-quality emulations of like EQs and compressors, vintage studio gear, all kind and manner of reverbs, delays. Everything is all integrated into it. So not only do you have this killer analog polyphonic synth, you also have a whole layer of digital effects on top of it that allows you to get even more creative with your sounds. So again, I'm not going to go really into all of the features and the oscillators and all that kind of stuff. There are videos out there that are going to be much better at that than I will be, because I'm not a synthesis wizard. I'm not strictly a synth player or a keyboard player by trade. I'm a recording engineer and a producer, and I can definitely play some keys, but I want to talk about it more from the perspective of somebody like myself who does a lot of production work, and was really just looking for kind of a great catch-all analog polysynth that was really easy to use, easy to tweak if I needed it to be, but could also do some really incredibly in-depth stuff if the project called for it. Something that other keyboard players who are more familiar with technical synthesis stuff could come into my studio and sit down and immediately know how to use and be inspired by and be able to really create a wide variety of sonic textures. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, again, instead of getting really technical with it, I just want to move the camera over a little bit more so you guys can see the unit a little bit better, and I'm just going to run through some of the sounds, some of the presets. It has 1,024, I believe, presets in it. It's got, I think, 8 banks of 120 something. I'd have to look, but it's an insane number of presets that cover any genre and any type of sound you could possibly imagine. There's amazing leads, amazing bass sounds, amazing rich pads of every shape and flavor. There's percussion stuff, there's special effects stuff, risers and crazy, sci-fi horror movie effects. I mean, it's just got everything. And any of the patches that you pull up, any of the presets that you pull up on it, you have immediate control over everything. You can A/B custom patches versus stock patches. There's even a whole integrated USB kind of plug-in piece of software that runs on PC or Mac that gives you even more in-depth control over the whole thing. You can edit your patches directly on the computer, recall, transfer patches to and from other people and other Deepminds. If your friend owns one and creates a really cool patch, there's ways to use SysX to get those patches using software on the computer. I mean, it's just, this thing can do so much and sounds so good, it's really kind of crazy. So let's go ahead and scoot the camera over and take a look at what all it can do and how it sounds. Okay guys, so here we have the Deepmind 12 desktop version. The synth does also come in sort of a standard quote-unquote version where I think it has a 49 or a 61 key keyboard, but all the controls are the same. All of the oscillators, they're identical in every way. This one is just a desktop version. Now I have it connected to my Complete Control keyboard, which we've also done a review on, fabulous MIDI controller, and I have it running through my DAW, being triggered by my DAW and the MIDI controller. But other than that, you're hearing nothing else. There's no compression, there's no EQ, there's no other reverbs or delays or anything. Everything that you're hearing is coming directly from the unit. So right when you turn it on and it loads to patch A1, the first of over 1,000 patches, we have Blue Dolphin, which is an awesome kind of washy string pad. Again, very, very classic, but very modern at the same time. It's real reminiscent of like a Roland Jupiter, but then with a nice kind of modern chorused vibe at the same time. So that's the very first patch it loads, and there's just so much great stuff in here. There's a real nice kind of ARP sound. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and literally go through every pad, but this one's called Heaven Pad. Just really, really fabulous presets and pre-made patches that you really don't have to do a ton to. You know, it's very easy. You can... You know, if you want to filter sweep or mess with the resonance, all that stuff is really, really easy to do. And you know, just look, these, you know, your filter, frequency, resonance. There's also it's a 2 or I believe a 4-pole filter. So it's all right there, exactly where you would expect it to be. You can just reach for it and do it. But then you're starting with these really, really incredible sounds. So this is a slightly modified version of this Juno proximity patch, as it's called. Classic 80s vibe there. Could be great for lead playing, something like that. But then you have just some really incredible, very sound designy type patches that are great in lots of styles of music, but are also great for scoring. One of my personal favorites is this B56. It's called Torn BC. It's just such an incredible sound that has so many uses. But then you can also, you know, here's a custom bass patch that I designed. You know, it does all kinds of stuff. Really great sub-bass type stuff. Let's see here. E6. Just a real simple... Really simple but really powerful, thick sub bass. If we go back to our A bank here, which yeah, it has banks all the way out to H. It's just crazy. This is another custom patch. Real kind of modern pop plucks. And you can, of course, do so, but you know. Oops. Not a great keyboard player with my left hand. But, you know, it can do modern, it can do dirty, it can do ambient, it can do patty, it can do string type sounds, it can do incredible leads. I mean, it really can do anything, you know, and that's as deep as you want to go with the synthesis you can go. It has 2 different LFOs, 2 oscillators, all the filter envelope stuff you would expect, and again, you also have this whole other layer with the built-in effects chains. So you can see on this one, if you can see on the screen, we've got chorus, a second chorus, delay, plate reverb. The chorus is on, the other ones are off, but you can go through here and they have a million different amazing digital effects from TC Electronic, reverbs, delays, all kinds of stuff, and you can use those to help sculpt your sound. So if you can't do it with the raw synthesis engine alone, you can go in and you have this whole massive suite of really high quality effects that you can work with as well. It just makes it an incredibly versatile unit. Okay guys, so there you go. There is a quick kind of sound demo of the Behringer Deepmind 12D. Now, couple notes. Again, you know, the purpose of this video and this review is not to go in depth into all of the features and the filters and how everything is set up. Because there's so much, I could sit here and talk for an hour about it, and I don't think it would be very helpful to you guys because, to be totally honest, I don't even understand, you know, 60% of what it can do. I've had it for over a year, and I've barely scratched the surface with this thing. And also, you know, there's a lot of other videos out there that get into this technical stuff. So if you're interested in that, I would recommend going and checking out a more in-depth technical review. My perspective on this synth is much more, again, one of an engineer, of a producer who has to do a lot of different types of products, or projects rather, and work with a lot of different kinds of clients. And I needed an analog polysynth that could kind of do it all, has a ton of presets and a ton of really simple features to get me the kind of sounds that I need and get them quickly without too much headache. And it checks all of those boxes beautifully. I use it for anything and everything. I mean, it sounds great on pop. You know, a lot of the pads and like string sounds and lead sounds and stuff are excellent for pop. It can do hip-hop basses. It can do funky, kind of Herbie Hancock-ish, ARP-ish leads. It can do all kinds of like crazy sound design, sound effect stuff. You know, I score for film and TV and like podcasts and stuff occasionally. And this is something that I reach for if I need some you know, a UFO is taking off or something like that. This is a perfect unit to get some of those sounds, especially if you like kind of old school sci-fi and horror movie soundtracks like John Carpenter type stuff. This thing can do all of that beautifully. But it can also get super modern, you know, get those modern pop plucks and pop leads like I was saying. It's just incredibly versatile. It's incredibly easy to use. All of your effects routing and everything is even if you've never worked with a synthesizer before, you'll be able to get in touch with this one, get acquainted with it, and go pretty deep right off the bat because it's all very simply laid out. It's right there at your fingertips, kind of exactly where you would expect whatever you need to do to be. So, what do you guys think of the Deepmind? What do you guys think of Behringer's foray into synthesizers overall? We've already done a video on the Behringer Model D, which is right up here. It's a Moog Model D clone made by Behringer. And that's Behringer used to be associated with some not great pieces of gear. You know, they did a lot of kind of junky stuff that was used for live sound back in the day, and their equipment was always kind of notorious for being incredibly cheap and wearing out really quickly. But over the last 5 or so years, they have really stepped their game up in terms of quality and diversity of products that they're offering, and their whole line of synthesizers is just kind of the newest face of all of that. So it's really exciting. They're bringing a lot of amazing synth products to market at a really affordable price. So yeah, what do you guys think of this trend with Behringer? Do you like some of their other gear? Do you like these pieces? Do you own them? Do you want to own them? We would love to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Again, my name is Alex Scott with Consordini.com. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. We do really appreciate it, and we will see you guys in the next one.